Good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Heather, and I had a traumatic brain injury 21 years ago. My talk covers my history, my accident and recovery, and occasionally I try and be funny, so feel free to laugh. And if you want to leave at any time, feel free. First things first, am I speaking too fast for you? Secondly, can everyone hear me?
It's good down here.
And do you still want to hear me?
At the moment, yes.
So yes, this is how I'm going to speak for the next 30 minutes. But for you, my wonderful audience, I'm sure to feel like at least an hour and 45 minutes. So I've learned many things the hard way, as you're about to discover one quite major thing, but we'll come to that. I've learned many things the hard way, as you're about to find out. Do you think you're invincible? I certainly did. I used to think I was invincible, but not anymore. Well, that's not quite right. I'm invincible now, just in a different way. Everyone thinks I'm drunk all the time, so no one comes near me or asks me to do anything. But that's how it was previously, falsely invincible. I thought I had everything. I did have everything. About 20 years ago, had a great job, wonderful supportive friends, and a great family life, a vibrant social life, and a gorgeous girlfriend who was also very intelligent. I was the pilot for British Airways. From now on, I'll refer to British Airways as BA, but I thought I would give them the full name at the top of the speech for the avoidance of doubt. When I say I was a pilot for BA, I don't mean I played Murdoch for the A-Team. That's a niche reference which only few people get. I will try to avoid any more of those. I can't afford to lose any more of you. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is life was good. Great, in fact. I had everything. Sky was the limit. There was only one thing left to do. Screw it all up spectacularly in one split second of poor decision making. But life clearly was too good. On December the 28th, 2002, I flew into Paris with my BA crew, and we weren't due to fly out again until the following evening. So we planned to go out for dinner. Myself, another pilot friend, and 2 female cabin crew. Sounds good, doesn't it? 4 young, professional, dashing, less non-mince words, beautiful people. Going out for an evening in Paris at Christmas time. Sophisticated and sexy, you're thinking. Sounds like a promised romantic comedy. Well, don't get your hopes up. The hotel had a big circular staircase around the walls like that. We'd had a couple of glasses of wine in one of our rooms prior to going out, in one good form. I would have said in high spirits, but that turned out to be deeply inappropriate. Anyway, I thought I would impress the girls by leaping out athletically over the banister. Think I was just half a floor up, but spoiler alert, I wasn't. I was 2 floors up. I fell 18 feet onto the cold, hard marble floor. I broke several ribs on my elbow and suffered catastrophic damage to my brain, when my head hit the floor and my skull fractured. I know what you're thinking, that's not very amusing. And in a strange way, you're right. Even now, 21 years later, I find it not so funny, but that's not the thing I want to say. The best thing I can say about my immediate situation is that I was unconscious, and you can see on now why the phrase in high spirits would have been a bit wide of the mark, as well as right on the money. The sky was the limit, and now the ground was the limit. Miraculously, though, the floor in marble was the limit. I was very lucky. I bet you wouldn't expect me to be my next words, but I was. The hotel receptionist turned out to be also a qualified nurse, so she took immediate and capable control of the situation. Thanks to her, I was hurried to the leading hospital in Paris, the same one they took Princess Diana to, but after a fatal accident, but they had more luck with me. The doctors carried out a risky operation to remove part of my skull to allow my brain to expand. It was touch and go for whether I survived the op. Had about a 3% chance of survival, but without it, I would have died. Of course, the surgeons were left with the bit of my skull, but to put somewhere for safekeeping. No, obviously, they had a plan. They think I had these French doctors. They stored it in my abdomen to keep me alive and the skull alive. And it worked. Also, it led to a funny pop conversation rising from the strangest of tabloid headlines that would be written about me in the coming months and years. Docs put skull in their stomach. I mean, I suppose it's slightly misleading, suggesting either a surgical serious mistake or I'm some kind of volunteer skull carrier. I was in a coma for 6 weeks. I've got much more to say about that. And then intensive care for another 2 months. And I tried to escape the hospital bed when I was in a coma. My passion to be free from the hospital. I haven't quite done the precise calculation, but I wouldn't be surprised to find I spend more time unconscious in Paris than half conscious, and not in a good way. My mum and dad were with me the whole time, renting a Paris apartment and visiting every day. Fortunately, they're both fluent French speakers, which meant they could put notices around my bed with French to English translations. So the nurses could say phrases to me like, clench my hand, open my eyes. Thankfully, lots of very responsible people said they resisted the temptation to take the mic. And my parents could communicate with the French doctors about my progress. And as the good, if obvious news, there was some. Every day there was a small sign of improvement, one less tube attached, a leg movement, a smile, a squeeze of the hand. Communication was often the most frustrating thing in Paris. I couldn't speak because I was breathing through a tube in my throat, had a tracheostomy. And my muscle coordination wasn't anywhere near good enough to write anything down. To express my thoughts, I had to pointed letters in the alphabet held up by my parents. Once my condition has improved, The doctors remembered to put the skull back in my head. I just pictured one of the surgeons brush his teeth in the morning. Sacre bleu, le tête pilote, je vous blame. No. They knew exactly what they were doing and put it back in its open now. And I was flown back to London the next day after they reattached the skull. It was really good to hear the captain announce that there's a special passenger board is on the stretcher to rev the aircraft. There was a shortage of beds in London for someone in my condition. In fact, there was only one in the trauma unit at Charing Cross Hospital. If someone else had been severely injured in London on the day of my flight home from Paris, the bed would have been taken and I would have been stuck. The shortage of resources to meet the needs of brain injury patients was a recurring issue during my recovery and rehabilitation. But by comparison, the hospital in Paris had over 40 beds in the brain injury ICU and double that in the rehab unit. Rather than go or profit on you, I'll just leave that with you. I spent 3 months in the Charing Cross Hospital, and as my brain and body slowly recovered, I found out to relearn virtually everything. All conventional physical movements, eating, speaking, clapping, spreading butter, doing a bunch, shaving, shoelaces, all the tiny little things that make you up to be a functioning adult. Bowel control, I hate to put that out there, but this is how we talk. Not kissing though, I've been told I'm still good at that. Although the physio nurses were excellent, the time was of course limited. So in that session 2 or 3 times a week, much more was needed. So again, I want to say a big thank you to my parents. It was excellent having them, love me to pieces, and it's excellent having them there. They relocated to London and spent time with me every day for 9 months, working with me to speed up my recovery. For most brain injured people, progress is initially agonizingly slow, then speeds up rapidly as the mind and body recover from the trauma, eventually plateauing in the long term. To achieve maximum progress before that, flattening out, a consistently high level of physio and rehab support is crucial during the early middle stages. Once I'd eventually progressed to wheelchair, which I picked up naturally because I was a born pilot, I was in the wheelchair for 9 months. I got transferred to the rehab unit at Northwood Park Hospital near Harrow. I spent the next 6 months. The physio program is now much more intensive, but still limited. My parents have moved down from Chester, and we're staying in my Fulham flat and not paying rent, the freeloading parents. My mum and dad worked with me daily to improve my muscle strength and coordination. Things like trying to throw and catch a ball with my teeth. The catching was good, not the throwing that was trickier. But truly, this was exhausting but vital to my future life. My mum didn't tell me till later, but the doctors had told her I would never walk again, or hop, or break dance, or win the Tour de France. But she grudgingly accepted that I was a bit of a tall order. Anyway, the grim prognosis was probably more determined that she would help me walk out of the damn hospital unaided. There were several other brain injured young men in my ward. One was a very sad case, knocked down by hit and run driver, which was bitterly ironic because he'd been a stuntman on the latest Bond film. But while he was in hospital, he got nominated for an Oscar and was invited to the ceremony in Hollywood. So the weirdest and most wonderful things to happen, even in rehab. After a couple of months, I was able to move around, albeit shakily. My balance and coordination was still low, as was I. Then came the day when I took a few unaided steps down the corridor to the applause of the hospital staff, staggering like a Soho drunk on a Friday night. By the time I left Norfolk Park, I could also speak again, but nobody could understand what I was saying. My speech was virtually unintelligible, even to my parents. Much more work to be done there. I'm doing how to talk now, for Christ's sake. However, when I did leave Norfolk Park Hospital, I damn well did walk out of there unaided. I moved into transitional living unit in Putney. It was great and crucial to learn to live on my own again. I was there for about 6 months. The first 3 of which I had to text my girlfriend after every meal to let her know I hadn't choked to death. The transitional living unit was all close to my flat in Fulham, and I went home once a week there before returning home for good, nearly a year and a half after my rather regrettable accident because my head hit the floor in Paris. What about where my flat is? I'm blessed in that I live in a lovely place with an even lovelier community. A bunch of neighbours with their noise there tell me out. My flat is a converted antique shop in the middle of a row of actual antique shops. It's got a big shop front window and I've installed Venetian blinds, but sometimes I forget to close them. And on Saturday, just Sunday mornings, you get people peering in the window. So I'm sitting in the couch in my dressing gown, wondering what I sell. The local council funded and provided continued physio support. And through that, I've developed my own program of physical activities, which included swimming in the local pool to improve my strength and coordination. I did daily exercises to improve it, ridiculously simple things like clicking my fingers and clapping my hands. I won't lie, it wasn't unspeakably boring and difficult, but it had to be done. Because of the damage to my right arm, I had to learn to write with my left hand, but I'm ambidextrous now. I take the greatest pleasure in the most commonplace things these days, just stuff that most other people take for granted. Walking neighbour's dog in the park, balancing on 9-hour ledge. I might not do that one again, at least not on the second floor. Carrying coffee in my right hand, but I couldn't have done that about 5 years ago. And still every now and then end up with a hot wet crotch and not in the good way. Before my accident, I was an adrenaline junkie, and I still am. In the past few years, I've learned to ski against crew tall ships race, scuba dive, and piloted a plane. My life is full. I've had a couple of great charity volunteering jobs, and at the moment I'm an extra in TV and films. I've done about 360 roles in the last 10 years. And now I'm on the way to being a disabled actor. Well, I've got an agent, so let's see how that works out. And a film based on my stories in the very basis. So if there's any film financiers out there, talk to me afterwards. My flatmate, who pretends to know about the sort of thing, has read the script and said it made him laugh and cry. And it's basically dynamite, so please do talk to me afterwards. A few years ago, I auditioned for Channel 4's The Undateables, and they did a bit of provisional filming, but eventually knocked me back with the three-back, sorry James, you're too dateable. I have no memories leading up to the Marvel, or the many months that came after. My brain has, quite rightly and understandably, blocked it all out. A lot of what I've told you is bizarrely second-hand information. What I was told after the fact. What happened to me, what I did, was a tragic, life-changing event. But that's not the controversial bit. That is, I'm generally quite glad it happened. Because it happened, I found out what others never will. That there are different ways to live a life. It made me a more positive person. It limited yet delimited me. When other people are stressing out about things, I remain calm, content and positive. I'm genuinely optimistic. I'm sure I always will be. My baseline is I'm alive, and life living is good. I'm still making friends. I enjoy socializing, although because I already sound like a drunk, I'm not great on the busy on the Friday night. But I prefer the quieter pace of life now. And I'm 47. Nobody at 47 likes a noisy pub. I prefer having a nice quiet chat with friends of mine. Just get on easily and well, and less pressure on me. So my outlook is simple. Be positive. Don't stress. Live life, the one you've been given or the one you've got in exchange. And to the full, because, spoiler alert, it could be taken away from you tomorrow. Or maybe Wednesday. It usually happens on the Wednesday. Avoid leaving the house on Wednesdays. I'm grateful beyond words to my family and friends, to the doctors in Paris who saved my life, and for the help and support I've received at all the various facilities that enabled my recovery, and to the point where I can stand and talk to you today. My education at the King's School Chester also helped me first to become a pilot, and then these inbred in me something else, thought, determination, positivity, and the resilience they helped me to build. So two-parting messages to take away. One, life is precious, cherish it, don't squander it, and whatever you do, don't throw yourself up a bandstand in Paris Hotel. Madrid is fine though. And it's an old cliche, even more than the first one. Don't judge a book by its cover. So many times in the early days, people crossed over the street to avoid me, that really staggeringly drunk guy. And I was just trying to get home at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. And I think my speech, People make assumptions about my mental ability, my intelligence. Just take a moment and think of what relevant difficulties people like us face on a daily day. And please don't finish my sentences for me, that really annoys me. Just wait a wee bit longer. Not to end on a bit of a downer, but I'll leave you with this sobering statistic. Head injury remains the most common cause of death and disability for people under 40. 160,000 brain injuries occur each year, and there are presently 1.3 million people living in this country with a chronic disability resulting from those injuries. In short, thank you for being here. Thank you for your kindness and patience and listening to me. And if anyone wants to talk to me afterwards, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Have a good afternoon.